Let's go.
Celebration Koten. So this seed is basically a quality of life patch disguised as a world created for the game's 10th anniversary. If you're planning a massive playthrough or a new speedrun, this is your starting point. Seriously, write this down. First up, your spawn point is guaranteed to be on the beach at the ocean. Hey, who doesn't love beaches, right? But the real bonus is the immediate NPC cluster right there. You get the guide, steampunker, princess, and party girl, all grouped together immediately. The whole Suicide Squad at once. Not a bad crew to start with, But having the princess available instantly? That is pure OP. She sells the slime staff. Don't forget to subscribe, legend. Yes, that staff. The one I nearly went insane farming for. The one I started thinking was just a hallucination. 1 in 10,000, Carl! Anyway, being able to buy it in the first minute gives you a massive pile of perks. First, you immediately get a mini-bro who destroys everything in your path while you're simply AFK, sipping your coffee. No more dying from the first random zombie you see. And of course, my favorite, the coin gun. By the way, I have a video on this gun. A lot of people write that they farmed it easy, but don't lie to me. So that's another ridiculously rare item now available for pocket change. Who was it that dreamed of the developer set from the treasure bag? The chances doubled here. Plus, the drop chance for other rare items like the Rod of Discord is also increased. And the chance for events like the Party and Blood Moon increased too. You might say, so what? But this actually lets you completely skip one of the most irritating early game grinds and instantly jump to top tier loot. In short, this seed is a must-have for anyone who hates the grind and wants action from second zero. Warning! Warning! I ask everyone sensitive to bright colors to look away from the screen. Prepare for an explosion of pink and blue. Structures like the dungeon, living trees, and the pyramid are painted a vibrant pink, while all surface sand and grass are a shocking blue. How I love bright colors. Actually, no, but that's not a problem. This seed generates more living trees than even the Drunk World, which is incredible for early wood collection. So you won't be left without furniture or wooden armor. OP items at the start, a rainbow-colored yard, free wood, events. You thought that was it? Of course not. Every item in chests is guaranteed to have the best possible modifier, instantly saving you hundreds of gold on reforging your gear. Yeah, that goblin won't be getting your hard-earned cash. So all your gold can be shot out of the coin gun. No! Accessories are guaranteed to belong to one of the big four: warding, menacing, quick, or lucky. That means your early game accessories are instantly OMG, I need it quality. Unreal pleasure. Desert biomes generate without a typical entrance, but we have a pyramid, and inside the pyramid is a chest, and inside the chest is the Pharaoh's set. How do you like that, Elon Musk? This is just pure joy. In short, this seed is designed so you can chill and get the entire game experience easily, without unnecessary grinding. This is also a great seed if you want to trick your bro into thinking Terraria is this simple, but oh boy, is he wrong. Not the bees. So we just talked about the easy breezy progress seed. Now let's talk about the seed dedicated to everyone who's ever been stung by a bee. I'm talking about Not the Bees. If you think the name is a joke, just wait until you actually load the world. The whole thing is designed to look like a gigantic infected beehive. OMG, can you feel that sticky taste of pain? This world is essentially a massive jungle biome on steroids. It's almost entirely made up of jungles and beehives. The main shocker and the thing that's going to instantly annoy you is that all standard water is replaced by honey. Seriously, honey everywhere? Well, of course, we're in a gigantic beehive, duh. Sounds sticky. I mean cute, and it significantly slows down your early game exploration. That sticky movement is going to kill your mobility until you get some proper accessories. Another key change is the starting NPC. You get our beloved old guy, the merchant, right at spawn instead of the guide. Man, how he loves my money. Since you spawn in the jungle, he'll even sell the furnace right away. So you don't have to worry about a beer mug, a sand gun, or pumpkin pie. The world generation here is just ridiculous. The surface is heavily populated with beehives, and I mean seriously dense, like damn. Hornets can now appear above ground, which is annoying, but the real deadly trap is the larvae scattered everywhere, often outside the hives. This means if you're trying to build your hut, one clumsy swing of the pickaxe or hammer will instantly trigger a boss fight with the queen bee on the surface. On the flip side, getting the bee's knees bow or the honeyed goggles, I absolutely love this mount, is incredibly easy. By the way, I have a video about all the mounts. All standard stone, granite, and marble blocks are replaced by hive blocks above the lava layer and crispy honey blocks below it. Also, there is almost no stone in the early stages. So immediately buy wooden arrows for protection and grab a furnace from the merchant if you want to craft anything. Ultimately, Definitely, this seed is an A-tier choice. If you pick the Summoner class, this world is especially appropriate. You can quickly get the bee armor and hornet staff right in the jungle. So, the Not the Bees seed turns the game into a total honey chaos, where you have to deal with the giant, aggressive queen bee family. The constant, don't starve. We've been to a birthday party dedicated to the game, and we've been swimming in honey with cute little bees. Do you think we're just cracking jokes here? It's time to seriously dive into the gloom. The constant seed is an incredible crossover with Don't Starve Together that radically changes the atmosphere and the core survival loop of Terraria. Think it's just cosmetic? Nuh-uh. This is a fundamental change in mechanics. The first thing that hits you is the persistent sepia screen shader. Yep, the world is shrouded in this gloomy, dark visual style that makes everything a bit threatening and permanently cold. This filter disappears if you equip the radio thing, which is exactly what I would do. The main difference here is the introduction of the hunger system. Are you serious? Now you are forced to eat roughly every 5 to 10 minutes. When you feel hunger, after 5 minutes, your stats drop, similar to the weakness debuff. After another 5 minutes, you start to starve, which further reduces your stats and forces you to lose 2% of your maximum health per second indefinitely. Not cool. Well, after you eat, the buff changes to well-fed, then you get hungry again and so on. This forces you to actively hunt or grow food. And yes, now in Terraria, you hunt bunnies and birds for meat to craft, so save your ammo. Just like in Don't Starve, true darkness kills. If you step into pitch black areas, a message appears. It's too dark. You feel endangered. Damn, just like in real life. And after 5 seconds, you will start taking a huge 250 damage per second. Dying from this unique mechanic will even give you a specific death message. Was slain by something in the dark. This forces you to rely on constant light sources like torches and light pets. So it's better not to stick your nose into caves without a mining helmet or magiluminescence. By the way, I have a cool video about top accessories. And there are even hurt sounds now. Cacti now deal 6 base damage when you touch or chop them. Can you believe it? Even the cacti hate you here. The world generation itself is very unique. You'll see marble biomes and spider nests generate right on the surface from the start, adding tough early game mobs to your starting zone. Interestingly, lead and platinum or never generate here, only iron and gold. This is a deliberate nod to Don't Starve that forces you to adapt your progression. This seed is a solid B tier for difficulty. It's not a full difficulty jump like for the worthy, which is waiting for us next. But the constant pressure of hunger, the deadly darkness, and the lack of basic resources mean you can never truly relax. If you are a Don't Starve fan and you want to truly test your survival skills in Terraria, this seed is a beautiful, stressful masterpiece. Drunk World. After surviving hunger and escaping the darkness, I know you were waiting for this. Right here, the generation descriptions and tips turn into random numbers. The progress bar quickly flashes between corruption and crimson, and the clouds resemble Redigit's head. This is the legendary Drunk World, my friend. And this world doesn't give a damn about the rules of the game. This seed is the most content-filled world you can create. Why? Because it solves Terraria's biggest headache, choosing between corruption and crimson. In the Drunk World, both evil biomes appear. Like yin and yang, only with monsters. Each takes its side of the map. This is a huge plus! You get access to all the unique enemies, loot, and materials from both evils at once. Isn't that awesome? The doubling of content doesn't stop there. This seed generates both variants of all pre-hard mode ores. That means copper and tin, iron and lead. That's a huge bonus. But here is the real magic for progression. In hard mode, you need to destroy 6 altars instead of 3, and they cycle through all 6 ores. That means you get absolutely all hard mode ores in one world, doubling your loot. This is pure fire! Your starting NPC is the party girl, and just by entering this world once, you permanently unlock the option to turn on the incredible Dark Terraria, Otherworld soundtrack in any of your worlds. The dungeon hides its secret. It's tucked under a massive living tree, which immediately complicates the search for Skeletron. But the real kicker is that the old man himself spawns underground in a tiny room. You won't be able to build a large, comfortable arena. The fight starts in a confined space, making it twice as hard. By the way, the cultists will appear right there, in that cramped underground room. So get ready to fight in a closet. But the dungeon rewards are boosted. The locked gold chest is almost guaranteed to contain the Muramasa sword, a cobalt shield, and even a pistol. I love this. This gives you powerful weapons for the early game. Plus, the 2 super rare items, the red potion and the Moonlord legs, can now drop from any chest. Also, the dungeon contains both corruption and crimson biome chests. If you want a 100% full playthrough, this detail alone makes the Drunk World an S tier. The underworld is now one giant lava lake with glitchy ruins around around the edges. Drunk World is pure, unadulterated content. This is an S tier for those seeking a full playthrough, double loot, and a chaotic fun experience that feels like you're playing Terraria for the very first time. Don't dig up. We've reached the point where we separate the veterans from the casual players. If you thought the constant was hard, meet Don't Dig Up. This is one of the ultimate challenges that completely turns the entire progression of Terraria on its head. Literally. Even the Terraria logo flips upside down when loading. The goal is simple. Start in hell and dig up to survive, or not. World generation is entirely inverted. You spawn on an island in the center of the underworld at the start of the game. The island is completely covered in ash forest and contains no hellstone. The only enemies that spawn are lava slimes and mimics. And logically, you start digging to reach the surface, but guess what? That surface is the most dangerous, evil-infested zone in the entire game. So don't dig if you're not ready to die. Your starting NPC is the tax collector instead of the guide, because his office is in hell, of course. The NPC happiness system is disabled, which is totally unsurprising. And the steampunker no longer sells the Clentaminator, so you can't fight the evil anymore. All that's left is to join it. The world is in a constant nighttime state, so night bosses can be summoned at any time. Lava is everywhere and is now a true killer. It deals 200 base damage on contact and applies a much longer on-fire debuff. So be very careful. One wrong move and you'll get a deadly lava shower. Biomes are completely inverted. The jungle is now located closer to the top, while the snow and desert biomes are shifted towards the lower layers. The progression of several weapons is also inverted. For example, the early game Spark Wand now drops from hard mode mimics with high stats, while the powerful magic dagger is now a weaker, early game chest item. The katana and keybrand are also swapped. This weapon inversion completely changes your farming priority. And for the hard mode transition, there's a unique change. The spread of evil doesn't create the standard V pattern, which scatters chaos across the map. Instead, the game simply generates a strip of Hallow on one side of the world, which partially replaces the existing evil. No new evil spawns! This surprisingly simplifies containment, because you don't have to frantically run around to save your houses. Don't Dig Up is a pure S-tier seed for challenges and hardcore veterans. It strips away all familiarity and forces you to relearn the basics of survival in an inverted, deadly world. For the worthy, if you've survived the drunk world, endured the hunger, and made it out of hell, now is the time for the legend. Time to find out if you are truly for the worthy. The main mechanic is simple. This starting seed increases the difficulty of the selected world by 1 tier. A classic mode world becomes expert, an expert world becomes master, and a master world becomes legendary mode, the highest possible level of challenge in Terraria. A god tier. This means the contact damage and health of most enemies skyrocket very sharply. For example, in master mode, enemy contact damage is increased by 77%. 77%, Carl! Can you even imagine how much that is? Compared to standard master mode, making the early game not just difficult, but brutal. Your starting NPC is the Demolitionist. Who else, right? If you aren't overwhelmed by the buffed bosses, this psycho will definitely blow you up. Although if he dies and you don't have any explosives, he won't automatically respawn. Be careful. Bunnies are now explosive hazards. They are replaced by fierce bunnies which explode on contact. So much fun. And trees have a high chance of dropping an unlit bomb when shaken. Even breaking pots can cause an unlit bomb to drop. If that's not enough for you, it gets worse. Gravestones dropped by players now deal contact damage, turning your spawn point into a danger zone. Also, early in the game, before defeating Skeletron, most enemies in the dungeon and certain other areas do not drop loot and do not increase the kill count. This forces you to desperately search for resources without relying on farming. This seed is a labyrinth of traps. Traps appear everywhere and are placed intelligently and densely. To make mining an absolute hell, blocks like sand and silt are 4 times more volatile and can collapse like dungeon-cracked bricks, creating massive, deadly cascades. Even in the underworld, ash block deposits can collapse, and the floor is riddled with small lava pockets. As a final touch, you can find a unique item in chests, the red potion. Great, another poison. But instead of killing you like in other seeds, this one gives you 3 random buffs for 30 minutes. A small but much-needed gift from the developers. The sharp increase in difficulty is most noticeable in boss fights. Every boss changes size. King Slime, Eater of Worlds, Skeletron, and Plantera become larger. Meanwhile, the Wall of Flesh, the Twins, and Golem become smaller, but no less dangerous. What a great joke. Many bosses, such as Skeletron, during spinning, and the Eater of Worlds, now deflect projectiles from the Star Cannon and Superstar Shooter. Of particular note is the brain of Cthulhu, which spawns with twice the number of creepers and inverts gravity during its second phase. This seed is a harsh, uncompromising test, designed for masochistic veterans who thought they had mastered the game. No traps. After surviving a world where every bunny is a bomb, let's look at a seed for the player who just wants a peaceful mining trip. No traps. The name alone sounds like a dream. The developers even joked in the patch notes that this seed was for those who totally hate dying to traps. This, of course, is a masterful troll. The no traps seed is actually a world with 100 times more traps than a normal world. You read that right. The world is a death trap, literally. Every gold chest is instantly replaced by a deadly dead man's chest, which triggers an array of explosives, boulders, and darts the moment you open it. The entire underground is a wiring nightmare. Statues are 15 times more common, and they are all wired together, sometimes in huge clusters in the glowing mushroom biomes, ready to spawn an army of enemies if you accidentally break a wire. The world is also filled with new, unique threats. You'll encounter bouncy boulders that ricochet wildly, TNT barrels scattered everywhere, and perhaps the most insidious, life crystal boulders. Items that look exactly like a life crystal until you mine them, at which point they become a deadly, falling boulder. Even the safe areas are ruined. The dungeon is packed with bouncy boulders and explosives, and the jungle temple is now mostly filled with TNT barrels. In the underworld, geyser traps spawn frequently, even inside ruined houses. The only upside? Because there are so many statues, it's much easier to find rare utility statues, like heart statues and star statues, if you can survive long enough to safely disconnect them. The no trap seed is a perfect example of the Terraria developers' dark humor. It is a world that challenges you not with boss difficulty, but with pure explosive paranoia. Get fixed, boy! We've seen the bee worlds, the inverted worlds, and worlds filled with 100 times more traps. And if all that wasn't enough for you, it's time to combine them all. This is the Zenith Seed, officially known as Get Fixed Boi. This is the ultimate crossover, merging the mechanics of 7 different secret seeds into one ridiculous nightmare. It is, without a doubt, the hardest world seed in the game. All extreme features are active simultaneously. You start in the underworld with both Crimson and Corruption on the surface. The difficulty is immediately set to Legendary. You are subject to the hunger mechanic from the Constant, where being in the dark or without food will drain your health for 8 minutes. You will be fighting an explosive bunny infestation, while the underworld is dominated by honey and hive blocks, and you are constantly bombarded by 100 times more traps. Your spawn is a guaranteed bloodbath. All starting NPCs, including the party girl, princess, tax collector, and steampunker, all spawn, and the party starts immediately. However, as soon as the party ends at the start of the first night, all starting NPCs instantly die. This is aptly named the party's over, or as I call it, the red wedding. Ha ha ha. Not funny. The mechanical progression of bosses in the game is completely replaced. Instead of fighting the twins, the Destroyer, and Skeletron Prime separately, you must summon and defeat a new hybrid boss, the Mechdusa. What is that? This horrifying combination consists of all 3 mechanical bosses at once, though their individual health and attack speed are slightly reduced to make the combined fight possible. Be careful. Moonlord also gets an upgrade, spewing 30 extremely fast moon lasers after every death ray attack. This is the best final test. If you are looking for a world that truly tests your understanding of every obscure mechanic and exploit in Terraria, from managing 200 units of lava to navigating a surface where fallen stars don't despawn during the day and can damage you, then you need to enter the seed Get Fixed Boi. Bro, hit subscribe and drop your idea. I'll make it next.